This episode of the Answer is Yes Baja Sessions is brought to you by Baja Bound Insurance Services. Driving to Mexico? You can buy and print out your Mexican auto insurance policy online in minutes with their easy-to-use website. They also have great travel information to help you plan your trip south of the border. Visit bajabound.com.
Hello, this is Ryan Thomas, and you're listening to the Baja Sessions. Over the last 3 decades, I've lived, worked, and played from the top to the tip of the majestic peninsula of Baja California. And because of this, I've met some incredibly interesting people with equally interesting stories. And today on the Baja Sessions, we're going to chat with one of them.
Hey, this is Michael Emery of Slow Baja, and I am delighted to be here in Ensenada, Mexico tonight, bringing you this conversation with Eliseo Garcia and Pepe Guiza of the National Off-Road Racing Association, better known as NORRA, or the happiest race on Earth. Sit back and relax and enjoy the ride with Eliseo and Pepe talking the Mexican 1000 and the NORRA 500. Really had a terrific time on the inaugural Mexican 500, and I'm delighted to be here in Ensenada with the two of you.
Thank you very much for coming down, and we're always open to anyone coming down and talking to us. Thank you, and we really appreciate the invitation.
Same here, Michael. We have been talking social media, and it's great to have you down here, and thanks for this. Where, like Eliseo says, we'll always welcome this type of interviews and getting people to know NORRA.
So NORRA is the good story. NORRA is a lot of fun. Everybody has something good to say about NORRA, and I really had a ball from the very first time that I met the two of you. We were driving, Ted Donovan, my Mexico adventure buddy, and I were driving my old Land Cruiser on the Baja XL about a year ago now. And we were out in the middle of nowhere, and I think you blew by us in your Lexus LX 450 mapping a stage for the NORRA 1000, and then were kind enough on your way back to stop and say hello and give me some stickers. And it's been, it was very good for us in that we got a chance to participate in your event.
Yes, indeed. We have to do several trips down the peninsula to put on this event. Basically, on that trip, I believe that was the second trip we did for the Mexican 1000 in 2019. And when you're making the road book, basically you're mapping the course and making all the notes. And I do remember seeing you because I told the guy that was driving, Hector Sarabia, he's our course coordinator, and we said, "Oh, look at it! It's an FJ40." And when we saw the number from the Baja XL, I said, "Oh, he must be on the same event." We went to the highway. We went back because we needed to continue mapping south from La Purísima to another village. Because we always try to split bikes and cars on the same stages so they don't get together, and that's when we stopped and met you. And it was really cool to see that you guys got interested in the event, and that we followed up and we managed to get you guys involved for the NORRA 500 and now for the Mexican 1000. And it happens to us. I don't know why, but anyone that gets close enough to us gets kind of hooked into what NORRA is and what we do and how we do it, because what they really like about it is that we do it for fun, we do it because we like it, because there's some love in it, and basically that's what I think attracts all the people that's with us. Well,
you're absolutely right about that. So we we were laughing when you went by us because you really, you seem to know what you're doing off-road, and your truck is a little bit better equipped and maybe a little bit softer than my truck, and you were a speck on the distance and, just a little dust bunny out there. And then, it was just terrific. You came back, and we were driving along. You came back, so we pulled over, and we exchanged some stickers, and I'm very sorry we didn't share any Fortaleza tequila with you. We didn't know at that time that you liked tequila, and we had some with us, so we should have shared it because it was very dry and dusty out there. But when we talked about the 1,000, then it was just too close for us, having just come back from the 3,000-mile Baja XL. My buddy Ted has young children, and we just couldn't pull off another trip. And so when the inaugural Mexican 500 came along, it really is such an easy way. It's like a gateway drug to off-road racing. You stay in the same hotels, you come back to Ensenada, beautiful Ensenada, every night, and NORRA really they do a terrific event, and they really made it very, very easy. So we had a ball. Yeah,
course-wise, it's a really easy to race and really easy to chase event. Logistics-wise, I think Pepe can explain to you the nightmare that we have to go through to make that happen. He's in charge of booking hotels and getting everything ready for people to come down and have information on everything, basically, because he's going to be the one that people's going to go and ask about it. I believe he can explain that to you.
Well, before you explain, Pepe, let me just say to the folks who are listening, as a layman, as an entrant, as a first-time NORRA participant, everything was incredibly well done and smoothly done, from the registration to the tech process to the micheladas at the bar to Bar Andaluz to being able to come back to the same hotel every night is just so easy. Really, we didn't have a chase. We didn't. I'm sure fast vehicles and serious vehicles have to do that, but we just parked and drove here in the vehicle that we were doing it in. The safari class was just really a terrific way into this event. So go ahead, Pepe. Sorry for cutting you off.
No problem. Yeah, it was great being able to do for the first time the NORRA 500. I thought that it was going to be less tired after the event, and suddenly I was more tired than the NORRA 1000. There was too many things going on for me, for my group, for the people that work for me. But at the end of the day, I think people enjoy what we did. Logistically, for everybody, was a lot of fun, easy to move around, easy to chase. The course was great. I believe everybody enjoyed it. And at the end of the day, it was a great first event, and we're looking forward for this year NORRA 500 and of course the Mexican 1000.
How much work goes into figuring out 250 miles out of Ensenada in two beautiful different directions? One off to the coast. That day from Santo Tomas to Irandira was certainly rough enough for me. I can't imagine going fast because I was just doing 25 miles an hour. I should have aired down sooner, but I can't imagine trying to do that road as fast as the big boys do it. And then the next day, the scenery was absolutely stunning up into the pine forests. And just here, you really did a sensational job in showing us the beauty that's just, within a few hours of Ensenada.
Well, I think that Ensenada, being the biggest municipality of Baja, has basically all of the environments, a lot to offer. We can go from definitely a desert to a pine forest to a beach to a mountain. We got basically all of the environments that anybody will like to somehow enjoy. And that's the good thing about it. For us, it's not really difficult because we're locals and we know exactly where everything is. But it is a challenge in order to make the logistics happen, because we had, for the first time in the off-road history, we had an event with two somehow sequential or live stages or like one single event with 2 races at the same time. And our rescue effort had to be split. Our checkpoints and crews and staff and course workers and road crossing officials, all of them had to be on 2 places. And it was a big challenge. I mean, for us, it was not an easy job. I think Pepe had he did basically all the things that are done in Ensenada, and I did all the things that are done out of Ensenada. And I agree with him. I was exhausted after the awards. I went to bed for like maybe 2 days, and I think he was like the same, because I think it was the same stress in less days than the Mexican 1000, and it really beats up our bodies. But I think that Ensenada has somehow the best course ever in off-road history. That's why it's called the capital for off-road racing, and I agree with you. I mean, it was a very, very nice race. One day you go to the beach. Yes, it might be a little bit rough because the roads are not like made specially for the race. It's still off-road. Maybe you would have to put less air in your tires to get less rough. But you learn things every day. I hope you did learn your lesson.
Yeah, well, I definitely should have aired down earlier. I saw Mark Stahl in our group airing down. I should have taken a clue from him, but I got sidetracked. I was photographing a beautiful scene, and I saw Mark airing down, and I thought, oh, well, I'll do that. And then, of course, I got in and forgot. So I was at full 35 pounds with no suspension in my old 1971 Land Cruiser. We shook our teeth and our eyeballs out, but we did air down later, and the next day, again, we were in the safari class, the Savvy Safari class, and the next day, Kurt Leduc, who was absolutely terrific for newbies like us, for off-roaders. We're not really off-road racers. We're just guys who drive, overlanders or off-roaders. Kurt told us early the second day, hey, make sure you're in four-wheel drive for this next stage, and that was very helpful. And, of course, we had aired down and had prepared by being in four-wheel drive, and that kept us from getting stuck when we were in some silty stuff. So it was very nice. And again, the NORRA way, where people are kind to each other, and Mark Stahl's buying the entire group ice cream at lunch, and it was just that Savvy Safari class is really a terrific way to get into this sport.
How many flats did you had on both days?
No flats, no problems.
No flats,
no
not
problems.
A single flat.
No, we didn't have we really didn't have a single problem at all. We came across a local on the second day who was stuck in the silt with his two-wheel drive pickup truck, and when we came upon him, we couldn't get around him, and when we came upon him, obviously he was hoping that we could help him get him unstuck, but my truck stalled right at the same time, and what we didn't realize at the time is that my air filter was full of silt. So as soon as I opened up I had plenty of crank, I had plenty of gas, so I determined I didn't have air, and as soon as I got the air filter out and banged it a couple of times and got the silt out, the truck fired up, and we were able to help the fellow get out of the predicament that he was in. But we didn't have any problems at all. We were stuck in the sand briefly, and I put it into four-wheel drive, locked the hubs, and drove right out of it.
Cool.
Yeah, easy peasy. But again, we were only doing 25 miles an hour. I saw a lot of the big boy trucks, the trophy trucks coming in at night, missing fenders and such. So the day two was it was day one for them, day two for us.
Yes.
Day one was a slightly technical course for the guys who were going fast.
Yeah, especially the pine forest. That was for them. All the big horsepower trucks were not as fast as the UTVs, for example. I think the overall for that stage, it was a buggy and then a UTV and then a truck, because they are so heavy that they just can't restart that fast. But that was the main idea was to have a day one for cars and balance it on a fast day 2. It was a very technical day 1 with a very fast beachside section on day 2. So we got a lot of people coming to us and say, "Oh, I couldn't make it as quick as I thought I would go on the first day." But I told them, I mean, just wait for day 2 and you will love it. So